Good day to you, welcome, it's me Andy Talkin really here, and if you haven't heard about it yet, then where have you been? This is monumental for journalism, and also the journalist Tucker Carlson, who has been renowned for producing brilliant interviews with various people around the world, and this one takes the biscuit as far as I can see. I know a lot of the mainstream media won't like it, and they don't like it, and they're vilifying the Tucker Carlson. Of course, you know that when you get the MSM and their biased reviews, you can see just by doing a quick search that the MSM are just there. I mean, for God's sake, you know, the headlines here, Vladimir Putin's stunt was like interviewing Hitler without asking about the concentration camps. Daily Mail. I mean, it was sycophancy. The Guardian. Putin mocks Tucker. I mean, the Independent. These are all MSM, and they're all trying to spin it round. You know, and then you've got the likes of the BBC telling you that the Russian state media revels in Moscow visit. Yeah. Oh, it's just ridiculous, this MSM spin on, and then we've got this person saying, how did he understand Russian? And quite clearly in the video, Putin has a earpiece, but you cannot actually see Tucker's ears, their left ear, very clearly, but I'm sure he would have a earpiece in his ear, because I mean, unless he does speak Russian, then he would have had to have it translated, surely, to God. And then, of course, you've got the hit piece here, which I just found regarding that very same comment, which is how he can respond to Putin without an earpiece. And of course, you know, it's just ridiculous. The MSM media speculating about the host knowing how to speak Russian. When interviewing Putin, Carlson was seen responding almost instantly as if he knew fluent Russian, was fueled by the absence of an earpiece. We haven't answered the question, have we? And he's been applauded for bringing the truth behind the Ukrainian war in front of the whole world. And this is why we have hit pieces like this in the media. But there we go. Now, this clip is probably the most famous bit of the interview. It's been played and played and played, but yeah, it sort of does typify the whole interview.
Who blew up Nord Stream?
You for sure.
I was busy that day. Nate, do you have I did not blow up Nord Stream. Thank you, though.
У вас лично, может быть, есть алиби, у вас лично.
You personally may have an alibi, but the CIA has no such alibi.
Do you have evidence that NATO or the CIA did it?
Знаете,
You know, I won't get into details, but people always say in such cases, look for someone who is interested. But in this case, we should not only look for someone who is interested, but also for someone who has capabilities. Because there may be many people interested, but not all of them are capable of sinking to the bottom of the Baltic Sea and carrying out this explosion. These two components should be connected. Who is interested and who is capable of doing it.
Oh, by the way, that bit of the interview comes in around about 1 hour and 15 minutes, so it's quite a long way in. And of course it goes on for 2 hours plus. Apparently it was ended via, well, Tucker Carlson ended it. So basically it wasn't Putin who said, I've had enough and, you know, let's move on. It was 2 hours and basically they ran out of steam, but they covered a lot of things. And interestingly, whatever you think of Putin is your choice, because as I said in my other video, my personal views are on my own, and I'm not going to try and influence you in any way. But you know, if you watch the whole interview, the whole 2 hours, you may well find you've got a different perspective, because all you hear on the news at the moment, the MSM, is how bad he's been, how naughty he's been over the years. And I saw a comment, what about blah 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 that he did in Chechnya? Right? He killed his own citizens. Hang on, wait a minute. Every government around the world has committed atrocities. Where have you been for the last 4 years in the UK? Right? So there's one example. And then if we go back even further to the Americans, the 9/11, have you heard of that? That's a pretty much standard thing. Citizens were killed, and allegedly, still have yet to put 2 and 2 together, but we all know who did it, right? We all know who did it. The US government did it. CIA or whatever, whoever, they did it. They killed their own people. So when these comments come out about how bad he is, oh, he's killed his own people, blah, blah, you think, well, hang on, he's not the only one, right? Yes, it's bad. Obviously, it's bad. You know, you don't do it. You don't admit it because, that's wrong. But he is not any worse than any other leader around the world for committing atrocities, right? So that is not a very valid point. But the interview obviously had a history lesson, which was very interesting. I know I could see Tucker's face. He was getting a bit bored. He had to interject several times in the interview with more questions, clarifying the things that he already knew. And come on, it was very, very interesting. It might not have been relevant to him, but it did actually have a lot of relevance to the whole point about Ukraine and things like that. So he was going through the history, and then of course he was asked serious questions about, for example, the Nord Stream. Yeah, he was asked about that, and he obviously came across as a very genuine person, a very honest person. And I would put it down to pinpointing the whole thing. This is all about US, UN, NATO, and the Western world. This is all about them. They've done this, they've caused this problem, they are pushing this problem, and they are keeping this problem going. Right? He does not want, according to the interview, he does not want to expand Russia. He's more than happy with where it is at the moment, right? So all this thing about, it's going to invade Czechoslovakia, he's going to invade Norway, he's going to do this, that and the other. No, he's not. Where is the evidence for that? It comes from the MSM and the US government, right? And NATO. NATO have infringed on agreements. There are several agreements that he's made over the years to sort out the territory. There have been conflicts with neighbours, Poland and things like this, but over Ukraine. And of course, the Ukraine situation is a hotbed. It's a hotbed of misinformation, lies, and basically, that's what you can put it down to, is lies and misinformation. The thing I took from it was that if people in the West wanted a global world peace, then Putin was up for that. The problem is, the West doesn't want it. They do not want a unified world. And that's where the problem lies, I'm afraid. Again, all of this is subjective, it is opinion, and it is basically, you need to watch the video, the actual interview, 2 hours. You need to watch it all the way through with an open mind. I bet a lot of people have already made up their minds how bad he is. And it's all his fault. He should not have invaded Ukraine, blah, and all this sort of thing. But to be honest with you, when you listen to the actual reasons for it, it all makes perfect sense. Anyway, that is just a quick video to talk about that, and I'm sure you've got your own opinions. I'm sure there'll be some, and I'm sure there'll be some that I don't agree with. However, you know, everybody makes up their own mind about this guy. We're never going to move on unless we include Russia in the plans. And it's always going to be conflict. So there we go. Comment down below, and I'll catch you later. Bye for now.